We are live. SB Talk Sports, Sean Webb, Real Tech Over Fake Debate, sponsored by Swift Energy. Go to swiftenergy.gg. Use code RTOFD to get 20% off your order. Sean, it's the start of the week. It's Monday. Oh, how you feeling, brother? How you feeling, man?
Feeling good, man. Down to the Final Four, NBA.
Yes,
And
sir.
excited, man. Looking forward to these matchups and getting towards this summer, man. How you doing?
I'm actually doing great. Just before the show started, I had dropped my best friend from college, like my brother. So during my birthday, I had called and I was like, dang, like we've been cool since we were 19. He left, moved to Florida 2 years ago. So he been this the longest we ever been apart. So on my birthday on the 28th of April, my girl overheard our conversation about like, dang, bro, we've been apart for like 2 years. We need to see each other up or we can figure it out. So she surprised and brought him out here for his birthday. He literally just left. Like he been out for like 2 days. So it's been a good week. So I see my best friend, my brother for a long time. Shout out to my girl too, W her. I'm really really good though for a Monday though. I ain't gonna lie, man. It was good because sometimes you need that like rekindle of family and real
Yeah,
genuine
yeah.
love around people that love you. So besides that, no, man, it's been
Yeah,
it's a good Monday.
what part of Florida is he in?
I think he's what's the Winter Park or it's like right by Orlando.
Yeah,
Like,
what
but
part? That's
he's
Orlando. That's
yeah,
Orlando.
he's pretty much Orlando. Yeah. He moved down there. He went to I forget. It's like a school down there, like another media school.
Full Sail.
Full Sail. He went down there Full Sail. Now did that, and then now he just once he finished, he just stayed down there. So he's working and doing this thing. So yeah, I was like proud of my boy. Shout out to the chat too. Shout out Tiffany. Everybody hit that like button. Shout out G Money. G Money. He said T Wolves and Pacers created shockwaves. Yeah, but no, not really. Not really. It's nice SB. Salute. Make sure you guys like, make sure you guys share, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We almost at 3. Okay, I'm back. Okay.
Okay, all right. Yep.
Back. Yeah, I froze. I froze for a second. Okay. Michael Jordan's son, the Wolves, stormed back from a 20-point deficit in Denver with the altitude to knock out the defending champs. Sean, how shocked was you to see that, and what was your reaction to that game?
I mean, that was definitely the most surprising outcome yesterday, SB, for me.
Mhm.
I thought, Denver played, very well in the first half. But credit to Minnesota that they were able to figure out some things in the second half, particularly turning up their defense. Certainly, Minnesota I thought did a great job of getting second and third opportunities. That was a big part of the second half as well. And crazy as it may seem, Ant had KLN last night. Those were Kobe-like numbers, and but still found a way to have an impact.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. It was a Kobe game. It was definitely a Kobe game for sure.
It was KLN. Yeah, so and again, for all the criticism of Cat and Gobert, those guys made plays, late last night for them, and it was a big part of why I think they were able to pull it out.
Sure, I lost my mind when Gobert hit the fadeaway Jordan fade. When I knew that, I was like, when it was on that run, I was like, yeah, Minnesota might pull this off. And halfway, I thought in my mind, I should have just did it. It was like the numbers was crazy. It was like Timberwolves for the win, come back for 20 on the bet. I should have took it because that was it wasn't too much money to lose. I could have put a little five piece would have turned to like 200, 500. I would have probably took that little five. But for me, from what I seen, I wasn't shocked that the Timberwolves won. I was shocked that the Nuggets gave them a 20-point lead at home. Defending champions, You got the experience, but this shows everybody this the point. This is the new era of basketball that we in. You need a team. Stop depending on your Jamal Murray and Jokic had 30+ point game. They gave you what you needed from them, but they missing the others. The other guys didn't show up. The Porters, they missing the Bruce Browns, the Jeff Greens, the other guys. This new era of basketball that's coming up, you need a 1 through 9 team. You can't have a league starting 5 and mediocre guys on the bench and think you're gonna win. It's not gonna happen no more. It's not. The reason why the Timberwolves were so great, they got a 1 through 9 roster, and also this is the best defensive team in basketball. Keep it like people got to accept this. Hey, defense wins championships. Offense sells tickets. At the end of the day, everybody lined up to go see Phoenix play because they had the offense. That's a ticket sell. When the Clippers had Blake Griffin, Chris Paul, offense sell tickets. Defense wins championships because when you have a great defensive team, even when you're down 20, you can get those stops and make those timely runs, the timely baskets, and diminish a lead quick. Like the Nuggets was probably up, like we could guess it to be like, oh my god, the Timberwolves was down 20, but they literally was only down 20 for like 1 minute. And once the third start, they made their run, it was over with. The lead was diminishing.
And, and one thing too, I would say, and again, I don't like taking away anything from the team that won. The Wolves last night deserved to win that game. Mm-hmm. And and again, to your point, SB, it was their depth that I think ultimately is what helped them win that game last night. Because, you mentioned Bruce Brown and no Jeff Green. Denver had probably about a 7-8 man rotation they ran last year. And when their starters got tired or when they weren't getting what they needed from their starters last year, they could throw in, hey, Bruce, come in, give us some energy. Hey, Jeff, come in, give us those non-all-star stats that you give us every night that you come on the floor. They didn't have that this year. And also you have the other piece of it, which is when you are the NBA champ, you become the hunted. You're getting everybody's best shot. And credit to the Timberwolves and Tim Connelly, their general manager, that team is built to beat and to compete with Denver. And so, that's what it's constructed to do. We'll see how well they do in the next round, but they built a team that could compete with Denver. And also, you think about it too, SB, just and not to take away, but 1 through 3 in the West literally all finished within a game of each other.
Yes, they did. They did.
So what would have been the value of the Nuggets or the Wolves being the 1 seed and being able to avoid each other until potentially the Western Conference Finals? So there's that other part of it too. So, and I think, going into next season, the West is going to be very, very tight. Maybe outside of Portland and probably maybe Utah. And there's a couple of things I'm not going to mention right now, but the West is going to be very tight next year. So the importance of seeding, I think, is even going to be even more pronounced next off season than it was this year.
Sharon, I got a question for you, right? Because I've seen this stat, right? And I always tip my head to you because I don't care what nobody says. I done watch and listen to probably not Main Street, because Main Street, they just say whatever to get clicks. People who listen to talk basketball. I still stand on the fact that you have been the only person that acknowledged the signing of Mike Conley and what he really meant to that team. So I seen a stat that said when D'Angelo Russell was on the court with this same 5 and McDaniels, Cat, and Gobert, they was rating the worst starting 5 in the league on the court together. They get Mike Conley, change the dynamic. What is the real difference in dynamic of what Mike Conley actually brings to this team? Where they had a guy with these same 4 guys like D'Lo and it was terrible, but you get a guy like Mike Conley and he brings the best out of them. Because Mike Conley is very underrated right now. I know he's old, but he's very underrated, and he got these guys. I don't Ant Man get all the credit, but he got these guys running like a real oil machine at the PG position.
Yeah. So what he brings is a high EQ, emotional quoting, meaning he reads situations, he understands moments as a veteran and as a guy who generally doesn't play too far outside of himself. I think there's when you're a winning team, or when you're a team that wants to win, you have to have guys like that. Mike Conley doesn't care about numbers. Mike Conley doesn't care about fame. He doesn't care about how many times you click on his name on social media. He just comes to play solid all around basketball, and that's what they needed. They needed someone to say, "Hey, you notice when he's in Ant's ear, Ant's paying attention." And Ant's not listening because Mike Conley is a better player. He's listening because he understands what Mike Conley provides, and what Mike Conley provides is that steady voice and that, hey, don't worry, we're okay, blah, blah, blah. Ant's starting to do a little bit more of that. If he was mic'd up last night, and you see he's starting to do a little more of that. I think, in my opinion, that's a big part of Mike Conley's influence on Ant is and Ant taking that next step in terms of his leadership for that team and that franchise. So I don't think his value can be overstated. Not about the money. It's about him bringing that high EQ every night.
My cousin arguably a better shooter now. Dang, they should have got him over D-Lo. Yeah. J Mac is a big. Oh no, J Mac definitely for sure. I think honestly, I get why Rudy Gobert got the defensive player of the year, but Jaden McDaniels by far is the best perimeter defender in the league, no debate. So we know more fake Nuggets fans. I never was. I don't know who was Ty.
And well, here's the other thing too, right? And I want to say this real quick, and this is just to the basketball community in general. I understand that you want to see certain teams fall down. And I think part of the whole people want the Nuggets fall down is really more about Jamal Murray and how Jamal Murray was being pumped up after
the
last year's play. And they cooked the Lakers. Okay, they own the Lakers. Let's just call it what it is. They own the Lakers. Whatever.
Lakers. Yeah. It's the Nuggets center out there.
Yeah. Some guys are just bad. Some teams are just bad matchups for your team. It's just that's the nature of the league. But at the end of the day, while this team lost last night, they're not going anywhere. And I know we're going to do some off-season previews later on. This team isn't going anywhere. And this team really is only probably one or two, real simple moves away from being right back in that conversation.
Yes. They can win again next year easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
So, and there's some all-time greats who never went back to back. Tim Duncan never went back to back. Larry Bird never went back to back. Wilt Chamberlain never went back to back. So, at the end of the day, I understand that everybody's, cheering the Nuggets going out, but this team ain't going nowhere. This is not the end. This is just the end of this season.
Look, here's boy Leonard. Let's get shout out. I should be the host, but Sean laughing said, shout out to you, Sean, Los Angeles Timberwolves. Yeah, look, that boy Leonard. But also, speaking of another team that lost, the scorching hot Pacers who got hot. Tyrese Halliburton with a Reggie Miller. I knew the Knicks was cooked for two reasons. When I say Tyrese Halliburton with a Reggie Miller hoodie with the saying the Knicks is gonna choke, and when I said Ja Rule holding the NBA trophy with the Knicks logo on, they was cooked. Bad luck Juju went everything with the Knicks. The Knicks lose to the Pacers 130-109 in the Garden in Game 7. Sean, from what I see, also we can argue the fact of the team being beat up. I think the Pacers are more healthy. They did a good job executing their last two games. And this is the problem when it do come with Tibbs, though. I'm not going to lie. When it comes to Tibbs, that is a problem sometimes when you do overplay guys. People go get – I think for Tibbs to win a championship, he got to win all his series in 5 games. If the series lasts long, which is going to be because he likes to grind it out, everybody on the team gonna get hurt. He had no Randall, Josh Hart, Brunson got hurt. DiVincenzo had 40 this last game, was balling out, but it's like you're not gonna beat no team with just DiVincenzo. What was your reaction to the Pacers beating the Knicks in Game 7, 130 and 109?
So I if I could, I would show you by text. So a couple people text me asking me about prediction for the game. I said the Pacers are going to win this game, and it was because they were healthier. I knew Josh Hart was compromised with the abdominal injury. Obviously, the unfortunate thing of Brunson getting hurt, was not very good. But it was when I watched them the other night, I was like, they can go to New York and they're going to win. And so the healthier of the teams that play an outstanding game won. You're not beating a team when they shoot 67% from the field. As a team, 67% from the field for the entire game.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous as a team.
So, and I know there's a lot of Knicks fans out there like, oh, Knicks blew game 3. Well, we could also say the Pacers could have won one of those first 2 games in New York.
Yes.
Definitely game 1. There were some questionable calls late when the game was basically in the same, in the same, it was
winnable
game, very nip and tuck game. So at the end of the day, the Pacers won the series. The Knicks did not win the series. You got to move on. So shout out to the Pacers, and the Pacers are actually living up to their name. When they play with that pace and the pace they want to play with, they are a very tough team to beat.
Yes.
And that's really what it comes down to. So, I'm actually looking forward to this next series. I think it's going to be a good series. Obviously, we don't know what Porzingis' status is going to be for the series.
He's out for the first 2 games, I believe, for sure.
I know for the first 2 games, according to Woj. So, so can Indiana steal one of those games?
They need to.
And also Indiana's been very good at home in these playoffs. I believe they're undefeated at home in the playoffs.
That's a good thing. That's a good. That's a good sign.
So yeah.
Now, with that being said, Sean, talk about both teams. The NBA Conference Finals is set. We got the Pacers versus the Timberwolves. We got, the Timberwolves versus the Mavs. The Celtics versus the Pacers. I got 2 questions. Which series are you most excited to watch? And which team is that you're most shocked actually made it to the conference finals?
Minnesota's a team I'm surprised made the conference finals.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Why is that?
I picked Denver in 7. I thought it was gonna be a very close series, but I picked Denver in 7. Just because Denver had the home court advantage. You could have I would have lost money if you told me Denver was going to lose 3 or 4 games at home.
That was crazy work.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So I thought Minnesota was the team I was very surprised got there. I thought the winner of the Mavericks Clippers series, I think we even talked about SB. I said the winner of the Mavericks Clippers series is going to the conference finals. But the Pacers, and again, before the playoffs, I said these matchups, they match up really well. And again, you need a lot of things to go your way to win series. Health is a big part of it. But, what it really comes down to is, are you playing your best basketball at the right time? And the Pacers obviously have been in these last 2 series. I saw the comment about, in the luck with the injuries. That's every year in the playoffs.
That's playoffs, yeah, right.
That's every year. Any sport, every year in the playoffs, injuries factor in.
Yes.
You can't cry about that. Ultimately, because I tell you this, SB, a few years ago, I actually called the NBA offices and because the Heat had a lot of guys hurt and said, hey, can we postpone the playoffs until we get these guys healthy? And after they laughed and hung up in my face, the playoffs continued. So the point is they ain't gonna stop the games because guys are hurt. It never works that way. You got to go play.
Injuries are a part of the game, guys. I'm sorry to tell y'all this. Injuries is part of the game. Sean, I ain't gonna lie. But you didn't tell what series you excited for. Which between these two series, which one you most excited for?
Oh man, I think the pace of the Eastern Conference Finals is going to be. These are the two highest scoring teams in the league. That's the series I'm probably more interested to watch because these are the two highest scoring teams in the league. But that's saying the Western Conference Finals is a good matchup. It's going to be a good matchup. We get to see, Ant, Luka, the triumphant of Minnesota's big men versus Gafford and Derek Lively. This is going to be a matchup series. I can't pick one above the other. I'm looking forward to both, but just in terms of style of play, I think the Pacers Celtics series is going to be very, very fun.
For me, Sean, you know I am. I'm a defensive head. I love defense. I gotta go to T Wolves versus Matt because I want to see what Coach Flint's game plan is going to be to stop Kyrie and Luka and try to see what he do to get these other guys involved. And I also want to see what Jason Kidd game plan is to do to stop their defense on the other side. So 100% T Wolves in the Mavs is on the series that I'm excited for. Don't get me wrong. I'm JT, my boy. I love Jason Tatum. So I'm be excited for both series, but if I had to pick one, I'm 100% going to go T Wolves Mavs. So I'm sorry. The team that I was shocked actually made the conference finals, I ain't gonna lie, I'm gonna say the Pacers. The reason I say the Pacers is because I know they did good early in the year, but I thought with the Pascal Siakam trade coming, I thought they still need like a little more time to jail and add a little more to the bench. But offense, like I said, offensive tickets. Pacers got the offense, but I was questioning iffy on their defensive side, especially in the front court with the guards and everything like that. But no, I think the Pacers making the East Conference Finals is great, and I also want to let everybody know, don't count the Pacers out because I know a lot of y'all everybody been this will be peeing me off a little bit, Sean. Everybody been boo-hooing about the Celtics, how they got this cakewalk to the finals. It's so easy. The Celtics can lose to the Pacers. I hope you know that. It's not no guarantee that the Celtics going to just got an easy step to the finals. It's not a guarantee. They're not going to come in this series and sweep the Pacers. If they sweep the Pacers, I will sit on stream and do 100 push-ups the whole show stream. Or I do push-ups the whole stream. So stop saying that. But 100%. This series right here, T Wolves versus Mavs, I'm very excited for. And if you had to pick a winner this series, who do you got? And what is the preview master? And what do you expect to get from this series?
So this series for me, I'll tell you who I'll pick in a second. This series for me comes down to pace. Can the Mavs get enough stops? Can they get up and down a little bit? I don't think the Mavs necessarily want to spend 80% of the game against the T-Wolves half-court defense. Can they get up and down? Where I think the T-Wolves, they don't mind getting up and down, but they want to play a little more grind you out because of how they want to set their defense on the other end. This is Luka's time. This is Luka's time. And what I mean by that is Luka has been to the conference finals before with Jason Kidd as the head coach. Obviously, it was a little different team. They didn't have Kyrie. And obviously, some of the guys who were there now are not there or are there, But this to me is you got to the conference finals before. You got beat by the Warriors, which, again, you can't, it's the Warriors. You can't get upset.
And they won a championship after they beat you. So it's like you can't.
Right, yeah. So this to me is, what did you learn, Jason Kidd, Luka? What did you learn about that conference finals?
Yes.
That you can take and say, now we understand what these stakes are, and here's how we can put our imprint on it. I think the Wolves are a year early. and not against the Wolves. The Wolves are a very talented team.
Yes.
And I said this when we were in our Discord last night. I said this to me, an X factor in this series is Tim Hardaway Jr. for me, because his shooting, and when he's a floor spacer for Kyrie and for Luka, I understand the defensive liabilities potentially, but I think he will help keep that Minnesota perimeter defense honest, particularly if he's making shots and they're keying in on Kyrie and Luka as I expect them to. And obviously, PJ Washington, what he does. So this is Tim Hardaway Jr. is my X factor in this series, but I'm taking the Mavs in 6.
You have to 6.
Yeah, I think the Mavs get it in 6. They don't have a home court, but I will take them in 6.
Before I get my point on it, I wanted to talk about this question. T.Y. had a good question. He asked, "Did your guys speak on somebody will win their first championship?" This is the perfect example of the new era of basketball, brother. We got 4 teams, 4 guys. Only one team really is like the historical champion franchise. Every other team, Timberwolves will be their first championship, Pacers first championship, Mavericks will be their first since Dirk, and then the Celtics got their own thing because they be in the league. Sean, how are you feeling about that? Like, this is somebody is gonna get their first championship out of this group. How you feel? Well, besides Kyrie, but
can I say that happens every year, SB?
What you mean?
Somebody wins their first championship every year.
Technically, you're right. Technically, you're right. Yeah.
Right. Like, teams rarely stay the same after winning a championship. So even if you went back to back, you bring somebody in who's likely not won a championship. So yeah, it happens every year. No, listen, I mean, this is great for the league that wants to transition post LeBron, post KD, eventually post Steph. This is great when you have this amount of young talent in the league that are playing at this level right now. And even if Denver had advanced, again, Joker's still very much in that. He's the freaking 3-time MVP. He's still a big part of the league's present and future. So but it is a huge huge deal. But right now, I think what these teams are focused on is not winning their first chip. What these teams are focused on is how do we win this series? This series is in front of us. Because these are going to be very tough series.
And I think everybody was talking about from the point of like every star player of the team. They got like Ant, Luka, Tatum, Tyrese Halliburton. These are everybody, because they don't look at the team, they just look at the star. But I think you hit it perfect on the head. Like, well, when would you not have somebody win their first championship? So that's good. I think it is an acknowledgement that it is a new era of basketball. It's over with. That old era that you got is done. But for me, my X factor for the series is Jaden McDaniels 100%. How can he play defense on Kyrie and Luka? Because obviously he's gonna be back and forth. But I think if Luka and Kyrie's in the game, he's gonna guard Luka. And Ant might guard Kyrie. So I think my X factor is Jaden McDaniels. And I got the T-Wolves winning in 7. You know me, Sean. I'm always gonna pick the better defensive team. No matter which one. It's rare I pick the team who ain't the better defensive team. I'm always gonna pick defense. My mindset is always defense win championships. And this team showed me they can beat Denver, the defending champs, on their home court. 3 games, and one of the games in the game 7. I know they're young. I know they're a little too early, but that's a tall task. I like. Now I'm not afraid of these guys going to Dallas and going to get a game. I'm not. I know they're gonna win the game in Dallas. It just depends on what Dallas is gonna do in Minnesota. But on to the next series. On the other side, Celtics versus Pacers. You went first. I'll go first on this one. I got the Celtics winning in 6 games. And the crazy part about this is my X factor is Coach Mozzarella Sticks. Are you going to fall into the trap of trying to shoot all these threes? Because this Pacer team is not the team to do that for. This is why I tell everybody think the Celtics going to win in 4 is easy. It's not the case, because Joe Mozzarella Sticks has that problem where he falls in love with the three, and with Porzingis being out, he'd get up, and then they start shooting themselves. They will shoot themselves out the game, and you will play right into the Pacers game plan because the Pacers want to get up and down, up and down. And what's the quickest way to get up and down the court? Just jacket quick and early shots and 3-pointers. So my X factor is, can Coach Mozzarella Stick actually get out of his own way and stop shooting threes and slow the game down? If he do that, I can see the Celtics winning the 6 for me. What about you, Sean?
Yeah, my X factor in this series is the Celtics bench.
I like that.
Because Indiana, we know what they generally are going to get from their bench. You know, with TJ McConnell and obviously Obi Toppin coming off the bench. They get some good minutes from Shepherd off the bench. Jackson as well. So they generally get production every game from their bench. The Celtics bench, particularly without Porzingis, obviously that means Horford is starting. You know, Peyton Pritchard, who TJ McConnell really kind of wanted to be. Yeah. You know, but you know, Peyton Pritchard, big man Cornette, what are you going to get? Hauser, can you give enough production off the bench, to support, the starters? So the Celtics bench is the X factor for me. But that said, I'm taking the Celtics in 6 as well. One thing I got to say too, because when you do this life, you can be very critical of some people. I got to give a shout out to Rick Carlisle, because 10 years ago, 20 years ago, I thought Rick Carlisle was such an antiquated coach who just wanted to play this slow down, grind out basketball. And he has proved that he can evolve with the times. And again, the Pacers getting Halliburton, realizing what Halliburton really is a guy who needs to get up and down. You don't want to slow the pace. They run, they move, they look for each other. And that's credit to Rick Carlisle. So I know he got a lot of flack for how things ended in Dallas and the fact that they didn't win a series or didn't get to the playoff or didn't win a playoff series for 10 years or whatever. But he has evolved and as the Pacers coach. So, shout out to him. I think you're on mute, SB.
I am on mute. 100% shout out Rick Carlisle. Now, this next thing I want to talk about next, we got to play the video for it, because Kendrick Perkins has felt the way about how this draft process has been going. Let's see what Kendrick Perkins, because obviously, Bronny obviously taking over the draft. We never seen Sha. If you look back at the draft, Jokic was a 2nd-round pick. And how Jokic is now, you would think we'd be talking about Jokic and talk about Bronny right now. I never seen a late 2nd-round pick talked about more than the first number 1 pick ever in life, ever. But this was a situation.
Hey, look, let me say this. We have to stop. As the media and everybody else shining the light on Bronny, because it's other players that are deserve our attention, right? The lottery guys, the guys that are actually going to get drafted in the 1st round. Like, we're talking about a young man that's possibly going to go late 2nd round or not getting drafted at all. I've never, in my 4 years of working here, I've never sat on the table where we're talking about a 2nd-round pick.
But this is LeBron James' son, and that is a legitimate storyline that one of the greatest of all times has a son trying to play in the NBA at the same time.
And you have to give Bronny credit for actually trying to say the right things, showing up in the right places. And at the end of the day,
and by the way, I like seeing LeBron in the stands as a proud dad. I like that. That's a great example for fatherhood.
He's the #1 scorer in NBA.
What does that have to do with his son being at the draft
Scottie Pippen's kid was playing on the Lakers.
We didn't shine the light on Scottie Pippen's son like this. We can't move the goalposts and feel like we go do it when it's convenient for us.
When we say Nepo baby, that means that you have the same career parents to child. And so for those
somebody's a Hollywood producer, their son or daughter gets a job.
But if he has the same dreams and he does get a little bit of the benefit of the doubt, this is the guy who has, but can we talk about this, y'all? This is a guy who's given his life to the game, LeBron James. And if the byproduct is that Bronny gets a little bit of a nod,
maybe there is though.
Maybe that's okay.
Because right now LeBron is still at the peak of his game where he has the leverage to maybe get the Lakers
and guess what? Maybe the team
you want it that way.
I wouldn't. However, if it's got to be done, that's the only way.
If it gotta be done, it gotta be done. It's the only way. Kendrick Perkins seems just about sick of ESPN of coverage of Bronny James. And Sean, I actually agree. Because one, is not fair to Bronny. And two, this is the point. Look at this. Like, we got people on a panel telling me everything because what my daddy did, I should just get drafted. It's because his dad is LeBron. And then Perkins counterpunch with something so great like Scottie Pippen is one of the greatest small forwards of all time. We did not do this with Scottie Pippen. We did not do this at all. We didn't do this with Jordan's son. I get it because LeBron still playing. We did it every, but can we tone it down? This man is a second round pick. I get he LeBron's son. I'm over the shock value that LeBron is possibly playing with his son. I get it back when I actually see them on the court together. Give the kid a chance to earn his own way. Stop it. That's all I want them to do is stop it. I like Perk said I'm getting sick of it too because I feel like it's not fair to Bronny. That's why I'm getting sick of it. That's the only reason for me. Well, what do you think?
So, SB, I think sometimes what's lost, there's a fine line between media and journalism. Mm. Media is often about the push, the hype. Journalism is about telling the story, the real story.
The truth.
Hopefully, the truth. So a couple things. I think I really want people to understand the historic nature of what we may see here. And to the best of my knowledge, we've only seen it in baseball.
Yes.
35 years ago with Ken Griffey Jr. coming in and Ken Griffey Sr., his father, still being in the major leagues. And they actually played on the same team together for a season.
Yes, they did.
Well, fast forward, the media coverage of it at that time wasn't as great as it is now because you didn't have as much media coverage as you do now. So you fast forward, I totally understand why there's a level of excitement about this because LeBron is still in the league.
Yes. Still playing good, by the way.
Still playing good. And there's a chance, not a guarantee, there's a chance that his son may play in the league while his dad is in the league. That is a very unique story. So I get that. I understand that. That's the media side of it. But here's the journalism side of it. There are hundreds of prospects going through the process, hoping to get their name called at the end of June by one of the 30 teams, whether in the first round or the second round.
Yes.
As much as I tend to follow the draft, and I know you do as well, there has not been a prospect talked about more than Bronny.
No. I think the most I see somebody in recent years was Lonzo Ball. Probably.
Maybe Lonzo, yeah.
Maybe Lonzo. And Bronny been talked about more.
Yes. And why was Lonzo talked about the way he was?
Because of his daddy.
Because of his dad.
Because of his dad, yep.
It wasn't that Lonzo couldn't play. We knew Lonzo could play, but his dad going on as many platforms as possible, talking about how great his son was going to be and how they never lost and Big Baller Brand and
Big
all
Baller.
that stuff, like he was the best PR agent for his son. Obviously, LeBron's not doing that.
Yeah.
Well, not to that level. What's doing it is his name is Bronny James. If his name were Brian Johnson, this wouldn't even be a conversation.
It would be. Because it's a Brian Johnson that went back to college who averaged the same amount of stats he did right now.
Right. So at the end of the day, I understand Kendrick Perkins' point, but Kendrick Perkins works for ESPN. You know what the E in ESPN stands for?
Entertainment.
Mm-hmm. What draws eyes? What draws clicks? What makes people tune in? The money. LeBron James is money. His name is money. His kids, by virtue of that being there, that's money.
The money. That's true. That's true.
So I understand Perkins' point from a basketball perspective and from a pure, we're our scouting, we're talking about the draft and these prospects. I understand that. But that's a very small part of this. This is ultimately about entertainment. And who drives entertainment? The big names. Big name is LeBron. His son,
Bronny. 100%. And when we look at this, because Bronny is going to change dynamic, because he is a possibility, even though LeBron has nipped it in the bud about he not leaving the Lakers to play with Bronny. He just want to share a court with his son. That brings us to the NBA offseason, right?
Yes.
What if you're a team? Do you take the chance, like if you're the Mavericks or the Nuggets or the Celtics or the Pacers? Do you take the chance of drafting Bronny just to improve your team for the offseason? Or the Lakers? Everybody just think the Lakers going to guarantee take him if he make it there. I believe so. The Lakers are going to take him. What you think?
Well, that's assuming the Lakers keep their pick.
I think they is. I think there's no reason to get rid of it.
Well, a couple things. The Lakers are going to go big game hunting around the draft time.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning,
there's a player they want. We're going to talk about this.
There's a player they want, but there's some other players that may be available as well. So one of their value assets is this first round pick. Mm-hmm. They have this year, in addition to the other two that they can trade as soon as the draft hits. So I think they're going to go big game hunting. Mm-hmm. We don't know how it's going to play out. Again, the projection for Bronny is late second round pick.
Yes.
Again, the teams that will be picking late in the second round are the teams that generally just got eliminated, or will be eliminated here soon, or just got eliminated recently. Mm-hmm. So, where can he go? That again, I've said this, that he can develop quietly, without a lot of mess, without a lot of noise. They don't need him from day one, because he is not a day one ready to walk in and help you. He needs time. So where can he go that he can do that? Is it Denver? Is it, like you said, Dallas? Is it, Oklahoma City? Where is, that remains to be seen. How are those rosters constructed now where they don't need him from day one? Or is there somebody else when they get ready to draft on the board that they think we need someone who can play right now? We're going to draft this person who we need to play right now, versus having someone that we may need to stash or send up and down, back and forth through the G League to get some time in.
So, all right, your last year. For what, John? And then also, we talk NBA off season. If you have a team and you watching in the chat and you got any questions about what your team should do, say the name of your team and ask your question about your team, and me and Sean will answer the question. But Sean, if I was a team, and I would who I would draft Bronny if I was them, and the possibility of getting LeBron James, it's an Eastern Conference team who just lost in the first round, and they need the skill set of what Bronny bring: perimeter defense, a 3-point shooting at the guard position. The Milwaukee Bucks. If I'm the Milwaukee Bucks, I draft Bronny right now. If I got a second round pick, I'm drafting Bronny. There's a possibility of getting LeBron with Giannis and Dame, and Bronny to come off the bench to play defense. I'm taking it. I'll do it. They need what Bronny's skill sets brings is what they need. Now, could he do it at that high level? No, but everybody say he's the Drew Holiday type of guy. Who they missing? Drew Holiday type guy. Whatever. Coach A said, what should the Lakers do with the 17th pick? If you ask me honestly, trade it. Trade it. I don't see nothing in this draft that's going to get the Lakers where they want to be and satisfy the fan base. So I package that in a deal to try to make something happen. I will trade it. What about you, Sean?
I'm packaging the 17th pick along with my other 2 first-round picks and a couple of my contracts, and I'm sending them to Atlanta for Trae Young.
Ooh, I'm not giving 3 first for Trae is crazy. 2, I can do 2. 3, I can't do 2. I can't do 2.
It's all about the market, and it's all about for the Lakers.
Now, Sean, I see 2 things happen with the Trae. You know, I'm not a big. I love Trae Young in Oklahoma. Once he got to the league, I started calling him fluke, and they was calling me a Trae Young hater. And then when they made that one lucky Eastern Conference Finals run, it was prove you wrong, Shaq. Haha. What's gonna happen with Trae Young go to the Lakers? Trae Young is gonna be what Isaiah Thomas was in the Cavaliers. Too small, too ball dominant. Unless LeBron is gonna be off the ball, let Trae rock how Trae rock. But I doubt it. Trae, bad shot selection, put his team in bad defensive transitions. The other team get easy buckets. He's a liability sometimes when it comes to passing the ball because you pass the ball selfishly for stats. He has a skill set to be a Steve Nash, but his mentality don't let him do that. And so he's a defensive liability, offensive liability. I can't trust him.
So I know a lot of folks don't want to hear this, and this is just me being very, very honest. Every move the Lakers make this offseason should have nothing to do with what LeBron wants or is doing.
Oh, I agree.
So,
LeBron, hey, if I'm the Lakers, LeBron got to take a pay cut to come back.
Yeah. So the reason why I'm saying Trae Young is because I think the 2-man game with him and Anthony Davis,
that could be diabolical.
Long term could be diabolical. And again, we understand he's a talent.
Yes.
He's a talent. Should he be your best player? No. But he's a talent. And again, I'm the Lakers. I'm preparing for my future.
Yes.
But at this point, you're not considering what a 40-year-old who I believe is playing their last season next season, whether with you or somebody else, you can't. That's not a part of the consideration. That's no disrespect to him, but this is about getting yourself ready for your future.
Yeah, LeBron. I'm not moving nothing towards LeBron. Hey, look, LeBron, this AD team. You want to come back, take a pay cut, go to Cleveland. I know everybody want to be like, oh, bro. No, bro. You can't. Now, this was 5 years ago. LeBron is about like 36, 35, 100%. You get the $50 million what you want. The man is going to be 40, bro. You can't pay no 40-year-old. I don't care who he is, who you got. He your GOAT. I don't care. Lead scorer all the time. I do not care. You do not pay a 40-year-old $50 million a year. I don't care what you say. Trae Young over D. Mitch. It's funny that you say that because the next story you got is that it's a rumor going around, not saying it's 100% true, but the Cavs owner said he would never trade Donovan Mitchell to the Lakers. That has been a report going around, multiple reports. I'm not going to say it's 100% so, but there's one article that we see right here. Reports the Cavs would never trade Donovan Mitchell to the Lakers. Cavs on their game would not be interested in sending star Donovan Mitchell to the Lakers, where he will team up with LeBron James. Imagine, like I said, it's taken with a grain of salt. Obviously, multiple reports, but this just not popping up out of thin air. Like nobody just be like, "Oh yeah, he don't want to trade to the Lakers." I think where smoke it is fires behind us because I done seen multiple and different articles talking about this. obviously nobody don't want to put their solidified stamp on it for sure. But I be thinking like these little sites and these other little reporters putting these stories out. Because come on, man. If everybody's saying the same thing about you, something got to be true about it. It might not be 100% true. If everybody's saying, hey man, he be lying or he be doing it might be a little true, Sean. So do you knowing Dan Gilbert's history, especially with LeBron, do you think there's any fire to this smoke about he would never trade Donovan Mitchell to the Lakers?
There's absolute fire to this, SB, and it actually goes back about 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So 6 years ago, y'all may recall the trade deadline. Around the trade deadline, the Cavs and the Lakers made a trade. The trade was basically Jordan Clarkson and Larry Nance Jr. to the Cavs for Isaiah Thomas and Channing Frye.
Mm-hmm.
What that trade did in the long run was actually help the Lakers free up the cap space to sign LeBron James that offseason. So the Cavs did not believe with the moves they made they were going to lose LeBron. Again, they thought, okay, we went on another finals run. We got some assets to retool the team. They did not realize they were going to lose LeBron in free agency for nothing. And they were stuck for a while with a very mediocre team, part because they made the moves trying to fix a really flawed roster. And remember that roster that season started out with D Wade and Derrick Rose. It was a very flawed roster.
Looked good on 2K, but in real life,
2K was but in real life it was awful. And so they were trying to fix the roster so they could go on another finals run with LeBron with hopes that he would stay. So there's absolute truth to this. Now, the other side of this is Donovan Mitchell has a great deal of say of where he could be traded because he has a player option next season for next offseason. So he essentially can say, hey, here's where if he wants to be traded, here's where I'm interested in going. These are the only places I would consider re-signing. So he's got some say. And again, think about Anthony Davis in 2019. Same deal. It's pretty much the same thing with Donovan Mitchell at this point. So the Cavs can say it, but if Donovan Mitchell says, hey, the only place I would even consider re-signing is the Lakers, they will likely have conversations with the Lakers. You know, so because again,
now even if they propose that, do you think the Cavs will still play ball and be like, okay, cool, I'm gonna send you to the Lakers, or they just be like, they just let them walk?
I mean, again, what you don't want to do is lose a great asset like Donovan Mitchell for nothing. So you get over your feelings and you figure it out. And now my guess is Donovan Mitchell will not hamstring them like that. He'll give them
the heads
two
up
teams that he would probably be interested in going to, and they'll have conversations with those teams. So, we'll see. But also, again, he could go to them this offseason. I don't think he's going to. He could go to them this offseason and say, hey, I want to go ahead and sign an extension.
Because Donovan Mitchell already, all the talks about him being frustrated, he already tweeted in response, said it's cap. He's not frustrated and not with the maturity with the guys. Darius Garland hasn't said that about his side of the story that's been coming out, but Donovan Mitchell came out and said the stories are lies. He's not frustrated with the team or everybody's maturity or nothing like that. But it is crazy. He had a hamstring injury. I mean, he probably hurt for real, but it is crazy they came out doing this hamstring injury and they lost the last 2 games. But they try to play there like, oh, maybe he set out. Who knows?
Yeah.
But also, the all-rookie team has been announced, Sean. What was your reaction to the all-rookie team led by Wembanyama and Chet Holmgren, who did a good job battling for Rookie of the Year? At close, they tried to make it a conversation, but we all know it was Victor Wembanyama award for Rookie of the Year. We got Victor, Chet, Brandon, Miller, Vasquez, I think I said it right. Vasquez.
Podcast.
And
Brandon
Podziemski of the Golden State Warriors do the first thing.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Lively, who has been great for the Mavericks. I like Derek Lively. Amir Thompson, Keanu George, Casey Wallace, and Gigi Jackson. I like Gigi Jackson a lot too. Shout out to the. It's bad to say it that way. I'm going to say it. Shout out to this kid getting the opportunity because of the injury bug hitting Memphis Grizzlies. He got a chance to play, showed his talent. I think Gigi Jackson will be a great asset to a team in the future, a solid role player. But Sean, you said you had a bone to pick with people complaining about the rookie first team. What was that bone you need to pick?
So the bone, essentially, SB, is with where you finish on the all-rookie team doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I give you an example. So the all-rookie second team has only been around since 1989. Before you only had the first team. So I'm going to tell you some guys in their careers who finished all-rookie second team. Gary Payton, Tony Kukoc,
Goated.
Kevin Garnett,
a legend.
Ray Allen,
greatest before Steph, great shooter all time.
Kobe Bryant, Manu Ginobili, Rajon Rondo,
Goated.
James Harden,
Goated.
Paul George,
Goated.
Giannis Antetokounmpo,
Goated.
Jaylen Brown.
He's nice.
So these are all guys who finished. I'm sorry, one more. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander.
Who everybody cried he should have won the MVP this year.
Right. So these are just guys who finished all rookie second team. It doesn't matter. It's an honor just to be named to the all rookie team because only 10 guys get named.
And it wasn't 10, it says close to the 90s.
Right. It doesn't matter. And it ain't where you start, it's where you finish. Because all the guys I just named are all either in the Hall of Fame or on that track, or been MVPs, been multiple time All-Stars, and all on a Hall of Fame track, all finished all rookie second team.
Mm-hmm.
So it don't matter whether you were first team, second team, it don't freaking matter. It ain't where you start, it's where you finish. All right. I can name some guys who made all rookie first team that some people may not even remember. I'm not going to do that, but that's the point. That's not the point.
I'm going to say, chill. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
No, I'm just saying. It's some guy.
No, it is. It is.
Yeah. Shout out Matt Harper. The point is at the end of the day, it don't matter. First team, second team, you got the recognition, use it, continue to grow your career, and see where you finish, because that's all that matters. Where'd you finish?
And I definitely agree that it's about where you finish, because it's not about where you start. And then looking at these teams with both rosters, like the NBA is definitely in good hands with all these guys. And also, it's not about where you're drafted at. It's about what you do when you put in the work of it. Because a lot of these guys, how many guys are top 10 picks besides what? Victor, Chet, Brandon. I believe that's it. All the other guys, maybe the Thompson twin.
Yeah.
That's top 10 picks off the top of the head. I'm looking at it. I don't remember none of these other guys being top 10 picks. So it's not about where you get drafted at. It's not about how you start your career. It's about where you finish. I 100% agree with you.
Lively was the second, but the 10th pick. She's
10 pick. Okay. Yeah.
So half the guys that made the team weren't even top 10 picks. So again, it's an honor just to be named all rookie. It ain't about where you start. Where'd you finish?
Where you finish. Speaking about how you start and where you finish, Marvin Harrison Jr. Fanatics files a lawsuit against Marvin Harrison Jr. for breach of contract in 2023. This is from Doug Holler of The Athletic. Fanatic filed a lawsuit Saturday against Arizona Cardinals rookie wide receiver Marvin Harrison Jr. for breaching a contract with the Sports Appeal, a collectible company from May 2023 in 2023. in the 17-page lawsuit, which is filed in the New York Supreme Court, obtained by the Athletic Fanatics, said Harrison did not fulfill his contractual obligations, and the receiver later said a deal with the company did not exist. Fanatic requests a jury trial, estimated potential damages of $1 million. Sean, here we go with the NIL drama. It's a possibility that Marvin Harrison might be the first rookie sued from his NIL deal, which he said he did not have. What's your reaction to this?
So, a couple things people understand. So, this was a limited partnership, meaning this partnership was only supposed to last up until Marvin Harrison Jr. got drafted. Obviously, got drafted last month. So, once he got drafted, the deal's done with Fanatics. Fanatics' contention is that they reached out to him about several things and some events and things like that, and he was non-responsive. As I understand from his side, he claims they never had a formal deal in place, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, we'll see. Again, I think this is an unfortunate, I don't say an unfortunate, but it is a, byproduct of NIL. We're going to see, how this, continues to move forward, because NIL is still fairly new, hadn't been around that long. But, we'll see what happens. My guess is they'll likely get something worked out, where they'll drop the lawsuit. Perhaps he'll, I don't know, sign several jerseys for them that
And
they'll
just
auction off, sell off, blah, blah, blah. And that's it. But, I don't see it being a long-term thing.
Fanatic pulling the Denzel on Marvin Harris Jr. I'm leaving here with something. I'm leaving here with something. I'm from around the way. I'm leaving here with something. I'm from around the way. But also double back on this one too. Marvin Harrison Jr. has not signed the NFL Players Association Group License Agreement, which is the NIL of the NFL. No pun intended with double play on the words. Where they need to use his name, image, and likeness for the NFL shop. I also see something about him having like a website where he was going to actually sell his own Cardinals gear through himself, which would be a crazy next level thing to do. And I was just looking at it now. That'd be crazy if that was happening. He'd be the first player ever doing it. I don't know how he could even get away with doing it. If you know a way, can you explain it to me? But so he's going to try to do that. That means if he says he has not signed it, he not been in no rookie with the photo shoots. He have not been doing none of that. If Madden comes out, they can't use his name on Madden. He'll be number 18. If you ever played Madden before when Bill Belichick was around, Bill Belichick was never on Madden. It was like, it just say NE coach all the time. So it's like anything NFL associated, since he has not signed this thing, they technically cannot use his name. And I wonder what the NFL is going to do to get around that, Sean.
Yeah, so a couple of things. One, if he's not a part of, so the reason why I'll end the Bill Belichick thing, Bill Belichick was not a part of the coaches union. So that's why he was not in the game. Meaning he had to give individual permission for his name, image, and likeness to be used in that way.
He was not going.
Right. So it's basically the same deal with Marvin Harrison Jr. But he's likely going to do his own separate deal with EA and with Madden, so they can use it, but he can make more money from it because it's a separate deal from what the NFLPA does with the group licensing agreement. So that what he's doing essentially is he is Michael Jordan in this thing. He is deciding that my name, my image, my likeness, I will control how that is used. I will control who gets to decide how to use it. And more importantly, I get to decide what value I want to set for that, because licensing agreement sets a value for that is very flat. He can say, no, if you want to use me, this is what I expect. This is what I'm going to be paid based on our agreement between me and EA Sports or whoever wants to use his name, image, and likeness. He will set that. He and his agents will set that. So this is I don't say a game changer, but I would expect more guys to consider going this route, particularly because I think he's going to be successful with it because he's getting the right type of guidance, not just from his agents and his team, but his dad as well.
Yeah. Now, Sean, this is a question I was asked before the show. I'm actually getting out on the show. Do you think with this situation happening, are we going to get more problems when the NIL will collide with the NFL when it comes to these deals and money? Do you think we're going to keep seeing this now at some point where it's like, yeah, my NIL deal going to collide with something I got going on with the NFL?
Not necessarily. I think what it's going to force is a look at the current business model that the NFL is operating under in terms of the group licenses agreements and things like that. But I think again, these guys and these younger guys, again, are understanding more than ever the power of their individual brands. And to put their individual brands in a group license agreement limits what their individual brands can earn. So I think what you're ultimately going to see is a potential change in how guys are allowing these GLAs to use them. And it may be, again, guys saying, hey, you know what? No, I'm gonna do my own individual thing, and and that's it. So I do think this could be the beginning of the revolution, so to speak. But I think it's only going to get more interesting next year because there's two guys coming in the NFL next year who currently play for the University of Colorado, who I know are going to be trying to do the same stuff. So
prime time, baby.
It might be three.
It might be three.
It might be three, but two
prime time.
Yeah, two definitely.
Prime time.
Might be you're right. It might be three.
So don't forget about Shiloh.
Yeah, I ain't gonna forget about Shiloh, but but I'm just saying, at the end of the day,
sure.
Yeah, but two for sure.
For sure.
No, I'm gonna say three. It's gonna be three. Yeah, it's gonna be three. Baby. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. So yeah, so I think it's gonna be so yeah.
Yep, no, that's good. Episode 76, Sean. Who you got for the number 76? I got two. One of them is definitely a bear. I can tell you that right now.
Who you got? Who you got?
Steve McMichaels, of course.
Mongo, yes.
Yeah.
Mongo, yes.
I was prepared today.
Yeah. For me, it's Orlando Pace.
Orlando Pace. That was
Orlando Pace. Yeah, Orlando Pace.
I was looking. I was already ready with Steve, but I was looking. You got PK, the hockey player.
Yeah, PK Subban. Yeah,
PK Subban. Let me see. They got Steve Wisniewski of the Raiders.
Yeah, Steve Wisniewski. Yep.
Wisniewski. Bob Brown.
Yes.
Bob Brown. Steve Hutchinson.
Yes.
Chris of the Giants.
Chris Snead.
Chris Snead. Yep. Chad Clifford of the Packers.
Yeah.
Brene Brown, the Seahawks.
He's infamous.
Yeah. So they had a couple names. But I knew I was prepared for this episode. I was like, 76. Yeah,
76, that's a good number. It's a good
That's a good number. 76 is a good number. But appreciate all you guys watching the show. We appreciate
shout out Sean Bradley, too. Sean Bradley, too.
Yeah.
Next episode going to be easy. Next episode going to be real easy.
Oh, yeah. I'm picking Luca. I'm letting you know.
It's already a little bit. But it's a couple of them. But yeah. Definitely.
We'll see. But appreciate you guys watching the show. It's been another great episode of Real Takes Over Makes SB Sean Webb. We appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you guys like, make sure you guys share, and make sure you guys subscribe and tell a friend about Real Takes Over Makes. We almost close to 3K. So push us to the next level. We're gonna get there. And see you guys on Friday. Thank you so much.
Yes.